He says, do you have any idea what it's like to play for 15 minutes and the only people that get to see you are the other bands and their girlfriends? Don't talk to me about rock and roll. I'm out there on the clubs and on the street. I am rock and roll. Hello there and welcome to Blockbuster Reviews. If you don't know what that is, I play a single game of Chill Marathon on Tetris Effect and try to review a film in 150 lines or the first game over. The tentative rule is no spoilers until line 50, and I don't talk about the film until the game starts, which will be pretty darn soon. Alrighty, so 1994's Airheads, starring Brendan Fraser, Steve Buscemi, Adam Sandler, and a whole bunch of other people. That really, it's a film that deserves more credit. If you're like me, you know about this movie because I think it played on repeat on Comedy Central for like a couple of years for some reason. I think the rights to it were really low. And Comedy Central realized, okay, look, it's not the best film, but it deserves to be seen. It's about a band called the Lone Rangers breaking into a radio station to get their demo tape heard, believing that if they get it played on the radio, they will basically immediately be validated, get a record contract, be set for life. So they break in, and before they break in, one of the members, Rex, who is played by Steve Buscemi, who's just killing it and proving that Steve Buscemi can basically do fucking anything. One of my favorite films, The Big Lebowski, he was in it as basically, like, pretty timid. He didn't talk much for reasons that you should see Big Lebowski for, but he's awesome in this movie, and he talks about how he stole these toy guns from the toy store he works at because they were too real, so they were being discontinued. He happened to put these in his bag before they went to the radio station, and when they get on the air, they do, because Ian the Shark, who is the disc jockey, and apparently a fairly famous one, fairly famous one, oh, words. Apparently I decided to burp right now while trying to make a fucking video. What the hell? And he's played by Joe Montana. Don't know how to say it exactly. He was on, I think, like Criminal Minds and a bunch of other stuff. Decent actor, pretty legit. He plays Ian the Shark, who's kind of a disgruntled, bored with his job and bored with music in general, disc jockey, who, you know, he's rude, kind of embodies 90s era hard rock, where he's like, I really wish it was classic rock time when music had something to say and things like that. There's discussions about that in the movie. I'm talking a lot about him for some reason. He's not the coolest part of this film, but he lets him on with his talk time, and when the boss, played by Michael McKean, Milo, comes in to break it up because he doesn't want him using his talk time for this band that no one's ever heard of, he insults Rex, who is Steve Buscemi, and Rex pulls out this fake gun, and now it has become a hostage situation. Brendan Fraser character's Chazz, his character's named Chazz, he kind of goes along with it because he doesn't know what to do. Pip, who is the drummer of the band, and Rex's brother is played by Adam Sandler, who's kind of the doofus of the film, other than David Arquette, who's another doofus, but he is the radio station doofus. They are now in this situation, and they just wanted the tape to be played, and the tape actually gets eaten by their equipment, and before they can actually get out of the studio is now surrounded. I'm in spoiler territory now, so I will just say that they do get arrested. But what then happens is kind of like a, what the fuck? I missed that? Oh my god, you gotta be fucking kidding me right now. Ugh. That was such a bad move. The film, that move really screwed up my mojo. It's a movie that, I had to find a copy on Amazon. I mean, woe is me. We're obviously living in much darker times than worrying about this fucking movie no one cares about. But I wanted it in my collection because it is funny. There are jokes in it. It is very 90s. It's very 90s, like, metal and hardcore. And it's also, it has these guys that went on to make crazy fucking shit. I'm talking Steve Buscemi, Brendan Fraser, and Adam Sandys. They're in this movie playing, like, just doofuses. And it's a dumb comedy with, like, cameos with Lemmy from Motorhead. Also, Judd Nelson's fucking in this thing as, like, who is surprisingly good and cheese dick. Like, that's one of the things that's so weird about it. Every time I watch it, I've kind of gone back and forth on whether he's good in it, but he is good. He's doing his job, which is to be a slimy record exec. Harold fucking Ramis is in this movie. Ernie Hudson, Chris Farley, Michael Richards, before, you know, he got in trouble for shouting the N-word at black people. You remember that. Which he's issued his apology, but we're not gonna forget it. I mean, come on. Not now. Random talk. It also has a bunch of cool music if you're into harder music. Also cameos from fucking Beavis and Butthead, the animated characters. There's also interesting, I mean, this is where we get serious. There's also interesting points made about artistic integrity, which is very weird. Because in this movie about slackers, well, not slackers, just musicians, I guess would be the best word, who really take what they do seriously. How Chazz is a character that has integrity enough to say, I'm not gonna just accept a record contract from you. I want it to come because of what we've made. And he wipes his ass with his record contract. He refuses to sign a couple when they haven't heard the music. And when he's almost corrupted by that slimy record exec, it comes to a head in this fake concert that they're going to put on for a music video where they want him to pantomime, and then they say, no, we're not going to fucking do it. They turn it into just a situation where they destroy all the instruments, and people like the song anyway because they play it live through the speakers. And then the movie ends with them in prison, but they're talking about when they get out, they're going to go on tour, they're going to have an album and stuff like that. And they play the song, and it's a cool song. It's degenerated. It's on fucking YouTube. But the stuff that always stuck with me in the movie, there's a speech specifically when shit starts kicking off and they start their, you know, hostage situation. And there's a lot of jokes about that where they don't realize the weight of the predicament that they're in. Where Chazz is upset with Milo and he says things like, do you have any idea what it's like? I might say it verbatim, which is going to be kind of scary, but I just love it so much. He says, do you have any idea what it's like to play for 15 minutes and the only people that get to see you are the other bands and their girlfriends? Don't talk to me about rock and roll. I'm out there on the clubs and on the street. I am rock and roll. And it was like, I'm not saying this because I was in a band that was underappreciated. I was in a band. We did tour. No, we didn't fucking tour. What the fuck am I saying? It's because I'm playing fucking Tetris. But there are those moments when you're in a band where, wow, all of my abilities just went out the window and I started laughing at my own stupidity. There is truth to the fact that when you are a band, no matter how good you are, no matter how bad you are, no matter how underappreciated, overappreciated, where you start playing to no one. And that's why it's important, and that's why bands will say it all the time when you go see them, especially if you're into the hardcore music scene, metal music scenes and whatnot. You gotta support your local bands, and you gotta go to shows early, because those guys end up becoming the bands that are your favorite. The guys that scrap it out doing, like, shitty clubs are the guys that will eventually become the bands that you can't stop listening to. But they have to do what all the other bands did. Every single one of your favorite bands was just a band in a club nobody was paying attention to. And then it took time and effort to get out of that and to show their quality. Fuck off. Are you goddamn kidding me? This is gonna end the same way as my last one did because I like the movie. When I like the movie, I don't do well, and that's not cool. Ugh. Okay, 150 lines. Whew! Airheads. Hopefully they give me an A, because that would be perfect. A for Airheads. Go watch it. I think it was on YouTube for free for a while. So, I think it was on Hulu for a while, but I think they've taken it off since then. Hopefully you watch it. I'm done talking about it. Have a good one.